Consider these two sets of numbers. Set A contains the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, while set B contains the numbers 3, 4, 5, and 6. Since 3 and 4 are common to both sets, these sets are overlapping. Recall that in Venn diagrams, sets are represented by circles. They lie inside a universal set, shown by a rectangle that is labeled U. Since sets A and B are overlapping, their circles overlap partially. The common elements will lie within the overlapping region in the center. How do we represent A union B on this Venn diagram? A union B is the set that contains elements that are either in A or B, or in both. Elements that are only in set A are 1 and 2, which is shown by shading this region. Elements only in set B are 5 and 6, shown by shading this region. Elements in both sets are 3 and 4, shown by the overlapping region. Therefore, when sets A and B are overlapping, their union is represented by shading these three regions. How about two sets that do not share any common element? Study these two sets. Set A contains even numbers 2, 4, 6, and 8, while set B contains odd numbers 1, 3, 5, and 7. Sets without common elements like these are called disjoint sets. On the Venn diagram, they are represented by two non-overlapping circles that lie in the universal set. To represent A union B, again, we go back to the definition of union. The elements only in set A are shown by this region, which is simply the complete circle of set A. Similarly, elements that are only in set B are shown by the full circle of set B. Since there are no common elements between sets A and B, there is nothing to shade for elements that are in both sets, unlike the overlapping sets that we saw just earlier. Therefore, when sets A and B are disjoint, their union is represented by shading both sets completely. Next, we look at the final scenario, when one set is a subset of the other. Consider these two sets. Set A contains the prime numbers 2, 3, and 5, while set B contains the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Since each element of set A is also in set B, set A is a subset of set B. On a Venn diagram, these sets are represented as two unequal circles in the universal set, where the smaller circle represents set A and lies inside the bigger circle, that is set B. A union B contains elements that are in either A or B or in both. Since there are no elements that are only in set A, there is nothing to shade for that part. The elements that are only in set B are 1 and 4, shown by this region. The elements in both sets are 2, 3, and 5, shown by the complete circle of set A. Therefore, when set A is a subset of set B, their union is represented by simply shading the larger set. Now that we've seen a few examples, take a minute to illustrate the following using Venn diagrams. Let's review. We can write out the sets in the tabular form so that we can clearly see all the elements in them. Set A contains the even numbers 2, 4, 6, and 8. Set B contains the first 9 natural numbers, and set C contains the odd numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Observe that A is a subset of B. So, the circle for set A will be placed inside the circle for set B in the Venn diagram. A union B is represented by the full circle of set B. Now, notice that the sets A and C have no common elements. They are disjoint sets. Therefore, the circles representing them will not overlap. A union C is represented by shading both circles. Note that we always include the universal set in our Venn diagrams, since all sets are subsets of the universal set. In summary, the union of sets A and B is the set that contains the elements that are either in set A or set B or in both. When two sets are overlapping, we shade these 3 regions. When two sets are disjoint, we shade both circles completely. When one set is a subset of another, we shade the larger circle.